Well, I'm gonna be honest. My phone, I've gotten like 3 or 4 calls during this podcast, and I keep feeling it vibrate, and I'm like,
Oh, I left mine on the desk.
Mine's
dude.
on my desk.
right now. I'm like, I really need to know what's going on.
Call him
with
back right now and see. Put him on speakerphone.
If you brought a phone to this podcast,
Hi, Mom.
you have to.
You're on the podcast, Mom.
Uh-oh.
He's
What?
goes on his
He's posting a TikTok right now.
It was Malia twice. So I don't know.
Oh, okay.
No big deal.
Should you?
Just the wife.
That's his wife.
cares?
Yeah.
Should you call your wife back and put it on speakerphone? That'd be fun.
I guess
You're like, it doesn't have to be.
But
right.
we're just talking about how we hate
I
technology.
I just feel like
Hello, you rat.
What's up, Brett?
You're actually on our podcast right now. How do you feel about that?
On the podcast.
Yeah.
I love
Oh my gosh, I'm so special.
Is there anything you want to say about like the
you
dangers
ugly
of social
idiot.
media or technology addiction?
Why is it in my pocket?
The danger of it?
Yeah, we're talking
Mike,
about like
What are you
like,
doing with the phone?
talking about
I'm
like
like, I left
TikTok and
mine
things
on
like
my
that, like
desk.
how
Closet addict.
just the upsides and downsides of it.
Mike, give me your
I
phone.
mean, yeah, I have a lot to say about it, considering I'm taking a break from it, being the number one way that I had been growing my business for over a year.
Your business is in your heart, not on social
What'd you
media.
say?
Oh yeah, she can't hear you the way that we can.
I said your business is in your heart, not in your social media. I'm whispering.
It's not helpful.
So you've been.
Do you actually
Has
want me
your-
to respond to this or no?
Has your business taken a hit because you've been slowing down the social media thing?
So, yes and no. One, with social media, I had to take a break from it, because I want to practice what I preach as a nutrition and health coach. And, it's holistic. It's not just what you eat, but it's what you feed your mind with and what you are spending your time on. And for me, it wasn't very fruitful. I was spending way too much time, especially on Instagram and TikTok, very addicting. And, it just wasn't bearing good fruit in my life. And I noticed that I was having a real hard time focusing. My anxiety was really high. And so for my business, I have been way more productive ever since I have stopped with social media. So in one sense, I have a lot more going on positively in my business, which is really great. And I've also been focusing my attention on some other ways of building my business. That has been really helpful, like bringing it back to in-person networking. I joined a BNI, and I've been getting creative on what it might look like to build my business in other ways.
Nice.
That's awesome.
This phone call really worked out nicely. Where can people find you, Malia?
Well,
On
on
TikTok?
Instagram.
Hey, you
I
want her
had
to give her
I had
address?
to.
Or?
Well, definitely you can email me. You can find me on Instagram.
Should we give our address out?
Yeah, exactly.
You can mail
Give my phone number.
So you can show up at my
Send
house
the
if
address
you
and
want to
people
find
can
me in
write
person.
a letter.
give the Instagram.
It's malia.wellnesscoach.
Awesome.
And so I think one of the things that I've really learned right now too is I have a couple people, it's funny that you guys should be talking about this today and I'm, chatting with you because I've had a couple people today reach out to me and say, hey, I haven't seen you on Instagram. Like, I've noticed that, you're not doing content anymore. I just want to make sure you're okay. And I'm realizing that, what I was putting out was actually something that was of value to people. And I think right now, like, if you're considering your social media usage, and first you have to see if it's bearing fruit in your life, but I also think that as someone who is creating content, considering if what you are creating is something that's going to build someone else up, because that should also be something you think about when you consider whether or not you should use it. So I plan on starting up and using it again because I think what I put out was helpful and encouraging to people, but I have to also develop better boundaries for myself within that.
Boom.
That's insightful. So ultimately you continuing, if it wasn't being good for you, would not have been good for other people because it's it's stealing something from you after a while. So it's sort of like a balance of do you have the energy for it, and is it life-giving to you? That should be probably first priority, is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. Because, like, the more, that I was fueling myself with Instagram in an unhealthy way, that also is going to cause me to not be, like, a very clean vessel or clear vessel to create something from someone else, because I'm not creating from a place of security and creativity in my own ideas and feeling good about myself, and not, and, like if you're creating from a state of feeling like you're competing and you're not doing enough and you're anxious and you're afraid of what's going on in the world and you're mad at people, like, you're not going to put out content that is going to attract the type of person that you're looking to work with anyways as a business.
Don't I know it?
Right?
Good stuff. Hey, you're starting a podcast too, aren't you?
I am, because that was one of the things that I was thinking of, like, what way can I continue to create content as well and create things that are helpful and encouraging to people in the health realm, but also in regards to faith, because I believe, health is holistic and spirituality is a big part of that for me, my faith in God. And so I felt like the podcast would be an excellent platform for that, because it's a lot more intentional and it's a lot harder to get lost in a rabbit trail when, creating a podcast, as it is when you swipe open Instagram and then you're doing a story, and then 2 hours later you realize, you haven't been working, you've just been scrolling all day. So a podcast, I feel, would be a really helpful thing, to be more intentional.
But podcasts are so boring.
Are you outside with the dogs right now?
Yes.
Cool.
We hear the
Yeah.
dog.
Have you guys talked about TikTok at all?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Ironically, we were talking about it a little bit before we called you.
You were what?
We were talking about it right when I called you back.
Gotcha. What did you guys say about TikTok?
Just, we love it.
Yeah, it's just we're 100% for it.
Really?
No. Of course not. I mean, you know me. I hate it. But anyways, thanks for weighing in. Love you.
Thank you, Malia. And that's MALIA.
What?
Wellness coach.
Yeah.
Sorry, I heard something in the background.
I'm so far away from the phone.
Can I say one thing about TikTok?
Sure.
So, one thing, because you were saying, like, what are your thoughts about TikTok when I first started? Like, so I think TikTok is, like, super fun and everything. And maybe you guys have already said this. Like, I definitely love creating content on TikTok and watching content on TikTok. But two things that I've noticed that I feel like are really harmful and, like, are going to have, like, long-term ramifications is, like, one, it's teaching everyone to do exactly the same thing and rewarding people for doing the same thing and not being actually creative. Because if you hop on a trend, you're rewarded for that. Like, that's what is going to go viral. So there's that. So we're not, in our own creative spaces, we're just being trained to copy people. But also, with the way that it works, I feel like it's not quite the same sort of community that you create, like, with Instagram. Like, with Instagram, you really get to know someone and a personality of theirs, and, like, you go to their page, you see everything. I feel like with TikTok, it's a lot more fragmented, so people are just going to be entertained and have a lot more opinions. It's a lot less personal, so I think there's also, like, potential for a lot more negativity to be on TikTok and to be a lot more of an unhealthy place for the creator, if that makes sense.
It's more shallow.
Because they're not cultivating that same sort of, like, tribe as quickly as with, like, an Instagram page or something like that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't used it, but I could see that. I could see how that would happen. But I mean, aren't well, I guess this would be getting into a whole another thing, but aren't, like, the sort of trends of people, jumping on a sort of bandwagon and people being like, oh, this is familiar, I like that because it's familiar. Isn't that sort of like human nature to a degree? You know what I mean? Like, in TikTok just dials that
they
up.
tapped
Just,
into that.
yeah, just taps it into that and just cranks it all the way up.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, tapping into that type of thing, I think that it just causes people to just continue to want to be like everyone else and, you know, have anxiety around, like, if I don't do what other people are doing, I'm not going, like, it's we're going to learn to get our value from that. Like,
Yeah, that's interesting.
I am rewarded, I am accepted, and, you know, people like me and watch my content when I do what everyone else does. Another thing, too, like, what type of a health educator, you know, nutritionist am I going to be if I'm always doing these tiny little bite-sized clips? Like, I feel like I'm not helping people to truly learn sometimes. If I'm like, really quick, 2 seconds about digestion. Here's what I want to tell you about digestion. Okay, that's it. Bye. You know, like.
Oh yeah, just logistically, it's not like the greatest like platform for you when you're actually trying to like get to know people in a little bit more down to earth way and like make real suggestions to them, and you can't do that in like 20 seconds.
Right. Like, am I truly helping people to like make meaningful change? I don't know. Like, I think I could definitely pique people's interest, which is fun, and like entertain people and get people thinking about nutrition concepts. But sometimes I wonder, like, what is happening to our brains when we can't pay attention for more than a couple of seconds before we're like, all right, that's too much. You know?
But then you pay attention for that little amount of time for 12 hours, like Berlin was saying. So for 12 hours, you've paid attention to little tiny things, and it's wearing away at you, and makes you feel like you're in a trance. And another thing of what you were saying, people, I think, go to TikTok because its algorithm is very good, and you can get very famous, and like by hopping on trends, you can achieve that. But it's true for any social media platform, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. If you're in it for fame, I think you're going to feel like chewed up and spit out at the end, unless you achieve it, and then you're going to get, on and on. It's going to grow worse. But if you're in it for helping someone like you are, and you want to make content that helps people, I think you're going to be really fulfilled by it. And you're not going to feel...
Yeah, certainly. And even with that, like, I think it's always good to check where your motives are at, because, like, and that's another reason why I was taking a little bit of a break from it, was because it's so easy to see someone go viral on TikTok, and it's like, wait a second, like, they're also doing what I do, and in 1 month, they now have thousands and thousands of followers. Like, what am I doing wrong? I should be there too. Like, almost like that FOMO, fear of missing out. You're like, wait a second, like, am I doing something wrong? Or, like, I should also, like, I'm behind.
They're better than me.
Yeah, it breeds the comparison thing, which does nothing good for you.
Right, and like, I really had to think about it. I'm like, well, let's just say that I did have thousands and thousands of followers. Like, let's just think about what that would be like. Not that, I don't know, like, I will continue to create content. Who knows what would happen, but, like, I don't necessarily think that should be the end goal, because, like, you're inviting in a lot. Like, yes, maybe you'll get some extra clients, but you're also inviting a whole lot more people into your world to just say what they want to say to you, and they all have access to you to message you. And, I feel like you're inviting in a lot of hurt potentially, when in reality it's kind of like ignorance is bliss. If you're not on TikTok and you don't know, then it's like you don't have to worry about those people and all the stress that they want to add.
Yeah,
very helpful.
Good points.
Well, thank you,
guys.
All right, Cody just deleted his.
Sorry, I just dropped the phone. I'm sorry. Yeah, love you. Thank you.
Love you. Call me when you're done.
Okay.
I do have questions for you.
Okay. Bye.